Tonight, the breaking news, the reality TV couple now going free. President Trump's pardon tonight after they were convicted on tax evasion and fraud. Also, Elon Musk breaking with the president on spending, the president responding tonight. That urgent manhunt right now for a former police chief considered armed and dangerous. And the tornado watches and severe storms, what's coming to the Northeast. First tonight, the breaking news, reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley walking free. And now President Trump says he'll look into pardoning the men convicted of a violent plot against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Also tonight, Elon Musk breaking with the president on his so-called big beautiful bill. Musk pointing to the spending and what it could do to the deficit, saying it undermines the work his team has been doing, cutting jobs. Tonight, the president responding to Musk and the anger at town halls. Voters telling one congressman who admitted he didn't read the whole bill to grow a spine. Tonight, the urgent manhunt intensifying for a former police chief and convicted murderer. Roadblocks and security checkpoints now near state lines. The warning tonight for the public. The dramatic moment at the trial of Sean Diddy Combs today, why Combs' attorneys suddenly called for a mistrial and how that judge responded. The storms tonight and tornado watches across multiple states, the system stretching from the south, then right up into the northeast. Lee Goldberg is here to time this out. Tonight, the 18-year-old just accepted to the Air Force Academy. She was killed while kayaking, hit by a jet ski, and now the charges. New images tonight of the desperation now coming in. Families trying to feed their children, storming a UN warehouse for much-needed food in Gaza. The crush of people turning deadly. And tonight, the Palestinian ambassador to the UN breaking down as he pleads for help. The chilling surveillance video tonight of an alleged kidnapping back here in the U.S., a man forcing a woman into the trunk of her car. Authorities say he was following her with a tracking device. The images just in tonight. There's been a massive glacier collapse tonight, the search for the missing. And at the end of the broadcast tonight, the Sister Act. The nuns going viral tonight, keeping the faith and the beat.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Wednesday night. We're tracking tornado watches up right now as we come on, and the severe storms. Lee Goldberg is standing by on this. Also, the urgent manhunt for a former police chief considered armed and dangerous. Authorities are now on state lines at this hour, and they're warning tonight. But we begin here with President Trump's new pardons, exercising the right of his office. The president issuing a full pardon to reality TV stars husband and wife Todd and Julie Chrisley, serving time in separate prisons, convicted of tax evasion and fraud. Authorities say they defrauded banks out of tens of millions. And tonight, the president now saying he will take a look at pardoning the men convicted of a violent kidnapping plot against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. ABC's chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off tonight.
Tonight, Donald Trump made it official, issuing a pardon of reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were serving prison sentences for tax evasion and bank fraud. Today, their daughter thanking the president as she waited for her father's release.
I'm just so grateful that I'm going to leave here with my dad.
The couple served just over 2 years behind bars. Todd was sentenced to 12 years, Julie 7. Just yesterday, the president breaking the news he intended to issue the pardon in a call to their daughter.
It's a great thing because your parents are going to be free and clean.
For years, the Chrisleys portrayed themselves as self-made real estate tycoons on their show, Chrisley Knows Best, showcasing a life of luxury.
Prada is better than Gucci.
Gucci's better than Prada.
I don't even know what Prada is.
But federal prosecutors called the couple career swindlers who have made a living by jumping from one fraud scheme to another, saying they defrauded banks of more than $30 million, using the money on luxury cars, homes, and clothes. Daughter Savannah, a Trump supporter, had lobbied for the pardon, suggesting in a speech at the Republican National Convention that her parents were targeted because of their politics and celebrity.
Due to our public profile and conservative beliefs, they accused my parents of fraud.
And less than 2 months after Trump met with Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer at the White House,
We're honored to have Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, great state of Michigan, and she's really done an excellent job and a very good person.
Trump said today he is considering pardoning a group of men in connection with a plot to kidnap Whitmer back in 2020. The two alleged ringleaders of the plot are now serving sentences of 16 and 19 years in prison. Today, Trump suggested they were not guilty.
It looked to me like somewhat of a railroad job. I'll be honest with you. It looked to me like some people said some stupid things. You know, they were drinking, and I think they said stupid things. But I'll take a look at that.
Last month, Trump pardoned Paul Walzak, a nursing home executive convicted of cheating on his taxes, erasing an 18-month prison sentence and a $4.4 million penalty. The New York Times reporting the pardon came 3 weeks after his mother attended a $1 million per person fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago.
All right, so let's bring in Jonathan Karl. He's live in Washington. John, a string of pardons here from President Trump. Is there a through line here, a common thread to these pardons?
Well, first of all, David, Donald Trump is using his pardon power much earlier and much more broadly than he did his first time. And what we are seeing in many of these pardons is people that have clear political connections or are political supporters of Donald Trump. For instance, just today, the White House announced pardons for former Republican Congressman from New York, Michael Grimm, and former Republican Governor of Connecticut, John Rowland. Both had been convicted of tax fraud and other federal crimes.
John Karl leading us off here tonight. John, thank you. Tonight, Elon Musk in a rare move, breaking with the president on his so-called big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk pointing to the level of spending and what it could do to the deficit, saying it, quote, undermines the work his team has been doing, cutting jobs. Tonight, the president now responding to Musk. And the anger at town halls, voters telling one congressman who admitted he didn't read the whole bill to grow a spine. Rachel Scott at the White House.
Tonight, Elon Musk is set to end his time as a senior advisor to the president, his role as a special government employee coming to an end. Posting on X, I would like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. In his last hours working for the Trump administration, Musk breaking with the president on his massive spending bill, arguing it would undo their own efforts to shrink the federal government.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
The bill Republicans just pushed through the House, officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, promises to slash federal spending by $1.5 trillion, with major cuts to Medicaid and food assistance programs. But the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office now estimates it will add $3.8 trillion to the national deficit over the next 10 years. Republicans in their own home districts press to defend the spending package.
I am going to do the very best job I can on your behalf.
At a town hall in Nebraska, Republican Congressman Mike Flood admitting he wasn't aware of everything that was in the bill when he voted for it.
This provision was unknown to me when I voted for the bill.
Late today at the White House, the president asked about Elon Musk and his criticism. President Trump saying he isn't completely satisfied either with the bill.
I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill.
And late tonight, a federal court dealing a major blow to the Trump administration, ruling the president does not have the authority to impose his sweeping tariffs on more than 50 countries, effectively bringing them to a halt. The administration expected to appeal, saying tonight, quote, it's not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency.
So let's bring in Rachel Scott live there at the White House. Rachel, there was another moment in the Oval Office late today when the president was asked about the war in Ukraine. He was asked if he believes Vladimir Putin still wants to end this war. And here's how the president answered.
I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. I'm very disappointed at what happened a couple of nights now where people were killed in the middle of what you would call a negotiation. I'm very disappointed by that. Very, very disappointed. Yeah, that's one thing I'll say I don't like. When I see rockets being shot into cities, that's no good. We're not going to allow it.
Rachel, does the White House believe Putin is listening to Trump?
Well, David, this is rare frustration from President Trump, making it clear that he is not happy with President Putin after Russia launched some of its largest attacks on Ukraine since the war began. Now the president says that he's giving it 2 weeks for these peace negotiations to play out. But this is not the first time that we have heard this from President Trump. He set that same deadline back in April and then again earlier this month, and now heading into June, delivering the same 2-week deadline for these peace negotiations, David.
Rachel Scott with us as well. Rachel, thank you. Next tonight here, the urgent manhunt intensifying for a former police chief and convicted murderer. Roadblocks and security checkpoints have now been set up near state lines. And the warning tonight for the public. ABC's Faith Abube on the scene again tonight. She's in Arkansas.
Tonight, authorities in Arkansas searching this dense terrain as they expand their search for former police chief turned escaped killer Grant Hardin.
Would you mind rolling your windows down for me real quick?
Officers stopping vehicles and multiple security checkpoints near the North Central Unit Prison, just south of the Missouri border, where authorities say Hardin made that daring escape 4 days ago.
We're not going to rule anything out at this point, obviously, because all it takes is one vehicle to hop in and you can be anywhere, but as of this time, they feel very confident he is still in the area.
Hardin seen here wearing a fake guard uniform. Tonight, an affidavit says a corrections officer at the prison, mistaking Hardin for another officer, opened a secured gate and let Hardin walk away. Officials realizing he was gone less than 30 minutes after his escape.
Not to say that I don't trust that they're doing everything they can. It's just he's obviously clever. And it's nerve-wracking.
Hardin serving a decades-long prison sentence for the 1997 rape of a school teacher and the roadside murder of James Appleton in 2017. His crimes the subject of investigation Discovery's Devil in the Ozarks, showing what he told investigators.
Can you walk me through your day about what happened today?
I have to remain silent.
Okay.
On that.
Hours from that prison, the family of Hardin's murder victim left reeling by his escape.
It just seems so unreal. I mean, how does this happen? He is just an evil man. He should not be trusted.
And David, a state prison official tells me there's supposed to be a verification process before doors are unlocked here at the prison, and that lapse tonight is under investigation. David.
Yeah, major lapse there. Faith Abube. Faith, thank you again. We turn now to the dramatic moment at the trial of Sean Diddy Combs here in New York today, why Combs' attorneys suddenly called for a mistrial in that courtroom. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, the star witness in the case, has given birth to her third child less than 2 weeks after her emotional testimony. Today, the jury heard her former stylist testified he witnessed Combs beating Ventura until her head hit a bed frame. This graphic photo showing the bloody gash. Deontay Nash testified Combs looked at him and said, "Look what y'all made me do." The defense has argued Combs' violence is not evidence of sex trafficking. Today, his attorneys asked for a mistrial. The request came during the testimony of an arson investigator who responded to Kid Cudi's home when the rapper's Porsche was torched with a Molotov cocktail. He showed the jury pictures of a slash in the canvas top, a malt liquor bottle, and a burned cloth used as a wick. Defense attorneys have said Combs was simply not involved, and today they accused prosecutors of unfairly suggesting Combs was responsible for the destruction of 2 fingerprints lifted from Kid Cudi's front door. There's no way to unring this bell, a defense attorney said, demanding a mistrial. The judge denied it. Arson, intimidation, threats, violence, David, these are all part of the criminal enterprise. Federal prosecutors here say Sean Combs was running. He's denied those allegations. David?
Aaron Katursky at the courthouse again tonight. Aaron, thank you. Now to these severe storms on the move tonight, and the tornado watch is up at this hour across multiple states. These storms from the south eventually making their way right up to the northeast. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg of our New York station, WABC, back with us tonight. Hi, Lee.
Hey, David, severe thunderstorm warning north of Austin, Texas right now. Some baseball-sized hail, maybe some 60-mile-per-hour gusts. The watch from San Angelo to Austin till 10 o'clock. There's a tornado watch from eastern Colorado. That's into Kansas. That's until 10 o'clock, and more severe storms along the Gulf Coast. Meanwhile, a wet night here in the Northeast. Good soaking for New York City. Moves into Boston late tonight, but it does get lighter. Then that storm in the plains, it brings storms down to the southeast, so we're focused on some thunderstorms in Atlanta. Friday, the severe threat is more organized. It means a soaker for the Northeast this weekend. David?
Lee Goldberg back with us tonight. Lee, thanks as always. Next tonight here, the 18-year-old who'd just been accepted to the Air Force Academy, killed while kayaking, hit by a jet ski. The jet ski driver then speeding away, and tonight here the charges. ABC's Maria Villarreal in Texas tonight.
Tonight, 2 people facing charges after a hit-and-run jet ski crash in Texas over Memorial Day weekend that left a beloved Air Force cadet dead. Authorities say 18-year-old Ava Moore, a standout high school basketball player just accepted into the U.S. Air Force Academy, was kayaking on Lake Grapevine outside Dallas Sunday night when a jet ski plowed into her from behind. Police say the alleged jet ski driver, 21-year-old Decarlin Gonzalez, fled the scene. She was arrested Tuesday, now charged with manslaughter. Michael Coero Peroso, who police say wasn't on the jet ski, also facing charges tonight. Authorities say he hit 2 vehicles while allegedly driving Gonzalez away from the scene. David, DHS says both of these suspects are from Venezuela. They were apprehended, arrested at the border, processed, and then released into the U.S. David?
Maria Villarreal tonight. Maria, thank you. Overseas and now to Gaza tonight, there are new images of the desperation coming in this evening. Families trying to feed their children, storming a UN warehouse for much-needed food. The crush of people there turning deadly. Here's James Longman.
Chaos is spreading in Gaza tonight as another aid centre is overrun by hundreds of starving Palestinians, tearing down the walls of this World Food Programme warehouse where supplies have been stuck while Israel carries out what it calls security checks. The WFP says this desperate fight for survival has left at least 2 dead and dozens injured. The despair reached a new climax Tuesday when this new aid distribution centre in Rafah was overwhelmed, a facility run by the controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is an operation backed by the US and Israel and employs private armed security contractors with support from Israeli troops. The UN says it violates humanitarian principles. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the system is in place to stop Hamas from stealing aid. Palestinian ambassador to the UN, Riyad Mansour, was overcome with emotion in a speech today, saying children there are dying of starvation. David, growing international pressure on Israel might now mean that a ceasefire plan put together by White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has a greater chance now of success. But it does mean that Israel needs to stop its military campaign in Gaza. David.
James Longman in London tonight. James, thank you. When we come back here, the prices you pay. And tonight, the newest major chain now warning customers that prices will be going up because of the tariffs. And look at this tonight, the chilling video of an alleged kidnapping, a man forcing a woman right into the trunk of her car. Authorities say he'd been following her with a tracking device. More on this in a moment. Tonight, the dramatic images just in here, a massive glacier collapse, and now the urgent search at this hour in the Swiss Alps. This playing out in the village of Blatten, now partially destroyed tonight. A huge chunk of the glacier smashing down homes flattened. Many residents had evacuated, fearing a collapse, but they are searching for the missing tonight. Back here in the U.S. into Florida, police say a terrifying alleged kidnapping was caught on surveillance. Authorities arresting a man they say used a tracking device to follow his ex-girlfriend, allegedly forcing her into the trunk of her car, driving away with her in the trunk. The alleged victim suffering minor injuries. That suspect is under arrest tonight. When we come back here, the prices you pay tonight, the newest major chain warning customers prices will be going up because of the tariffs. And if you loved the movie Sister Act, you have to see the real thing tonight, right here. To the index and to the economy tonight, Macy's now warning shoppers that prices will be going up. The CEO today announcing the hikes will offset tariffs and competition. Macy's not yet revealing which items will cost more. The retailer saying the tariffs are dampening their earnings forecast as well. When we come back here tonight, if you love the movie Sister Act, the real-life nuns tonight going viral. Even the nuns cannot believe all the attention in a moment. Finally tonight here, the real-life Sister Act going viral tonight. Tonight, the two nuns with their voices and their moves reaching millions. They're being called the new Sister Act. Sister Marizelli and Sister Marisa on a Brazilian Catholic TV show talking about their work to reach the faithful. When Sister Marizelli begins to sing a song called Vocation, being called to religious life. Sister Marisa joining in. But then, no one was expecting this. Sister Marizelli beatboxing, and they weren't done. Standing up, they had moves too. Then one of the hosts, the deacon, joining in. The performance going viral. Tonight here, the sisters on the moment. Sister Marizelli saying beatboxing, dancing, and the songs themselves are tools that God uses to reach the hearts of the people we work with. Sister Marisa saying, we didn't expect the audience to be so many young people, all kinds of people. Tonight, many who have seen this now comparing it to another Sister Act. The famous movies, the nuns helping to move their community through music. Tonight, the real-life Sister Act, hoping they'll do the same. Always the nuns who lift us up. I'm David Muir. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.